Another week brings more outrageous numbers from Drake Maye, and after the rewatch, we have one concern regarding the franchise quarterback. This is Locked On Patriots.
You are Locked On Patriots, your daily New England Patriots podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's happening? I am your host, Nick Cattles, born and raised in New England, been covering the Pats for the past 16 years, also co-host of the Greg Bedard Patriots podcast with Nick Cattles and a sports talk show host veteran. On today's episode, we have some significant takeaways after our rewatch, including one defender who continues to disrupt offenses. Also, we'll tell you how the rookie side of the offensive line did against the Tennessee Titans. But first, the number one story continues to be Drake Maye. We appreciate you joining the show, making us your first listen, for being an everydayer. The Locked On Patriots podcast is a proud partner of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching/listening on YouTube. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love rewatching these games, taking a look and learning things that I might not have learned the first time around in real time. I will tell you, during the rewatch, Drake Maye had some high-level throws. We discussed them in the live postgame. Those throws that we discussed, yes, they remained high-level throws against the Tennessee Titans. Here's another note from Drake Maye's Sunday. He had 0 turnover-worthy plays. Again, this continues a fantastic trend for Drake Maye. He is not putting the football in harm's way. 0 turnover-worthy plays is a fantastic week from 30,000 feet for your quarterback. And it's rather obvious when you watch these games, the staff, Josh McDaniels, Mike Vrabel, everybody else, the players even, there's ultimate trust in Drake Maye. They believe he's going to make the right play. They believe he's going to make the right decision. Now, I'm going to hit some outrageous numbers through 7 weeks for Drake Maye. But coming up in a few minutes, I'm going to actually give you a concern from the rewatch that I had. It might be a nitpick, but I do want to get into in a little bit a concern I have after watching Patriots Titans regarding Drake Maye. But let's start off with the great news because it's deserved. Drake Maye's been fantastic. His Pro Football Focus overall grade through 7 weeks is 87.3. Now, I looked at the quarterback rankings from 2024, and I wanted to stack up that overall grade compared to those numbers from last year and see where Drake Maye would have ended up. Drake Maye's grade so far from Pro Football Focus at 87.3, so far that would put him 6th in 2024 in quarterback rankings. So Pro Football Focus, I know, very polarizing. It's just one set of numbers that we use from time to time here on the podcast. I get it. You're not going to agree with all of the analytics. But just looking at the Pro Football Focus overall grade, Drake Maye, if the season ended after 7 weeks, he would have been the 6th highest ranked quarterback in 2024. Fantastic. Fantastic growth. Fantastic improvement. And did you know that Drake Maye's deep passing grade is a 99.9? That's absolutely ridiculous and borderline comical. We've got some more crazy numbers for you regarding Drake Maye and what he's done so far this year. Doug Kide posts, Drake Maye's 24.8% completion percentage over expected versus Tennessee ranks in the 99th percentile of quarterbacks with a minimum of 5 plays in a game. His completion percentage over expected was almost 25%. That's bonkers. Mark Daniels posted, Drake Maye is the first quarterback. I want you to truly appreciate what I'm about to share, thanks to Mark Daniels. Drake Maye is the first quarterback in NFL history with 5 games with an 80-plus completion percentage in his first 2 career seasons. That's from the NFL. He is the first quarterback in the history of the game that has ended 5 games with an 80-plus completion percentage in his first 2 career seasons. Now, before the Monday Night Football doubleheader, I will let you know that Drake Maye is number 1 in the NFL in expected points added. He's number 2 in the NFL in expected points added per dropback. He is number 1, and this shouldn't surprise you given the first number I gave you from Doug Kyde, the completion percentage over expected. Drake Maye, number 1 in all of football, and Drake Maye also is the 3rd best when it comes to passer rating before Monday Night Football's doubleheader. This is all through 7 weeks. Greg Bedard posted that Drake Maye, when you look at the top 15 completion percentage over expected games this season, so take all of the quarterbacks through 7 weeks, short 2 games coming up on Monday night. When you look at all of the quarterback play and you take the top 15 completion percentage over expected games this season, Drake Maye has 1/3 of those games. He has 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. Jalen Hurts has 2. That's it. Those are the only 2 quarterbacks that have multiple performances in the top 15 of completion percentage over expected, and Drake Maye has more than doubled the guy who's in second place. I mean, these are just astounding numbers. And it's not just his ability as a passer. It's his ability to run with the football. The dual threat ability is real. And Drake Maye this year is attacking defenses as good as any quarterback in the league when it comes to running with the football. Chad Graff from The Athletic, he writes, again, this is before Monday Night Football, Drake Maye ranks 5th in rushing yards among quarterbacks, 3rd in rushing first downs among quarterbacks. He is 1st in rushing 3rd down conversion percentage among quarterbacks. He's been great on 3rd and 4th down, and some of that story has been his ability to convert on 3rd downs thanks to his legs. But that leads me to my biggest nitpick from Sunday in Tennessee and a concern that I have. Drake Maye has to continue to get better at balancing when to run with the football or stay engaged as a passer. It was an emphasis in the offseason. I think, for the most part, Drake Maye's done a very good job of doing just that. But in Tennessee, there was a little bit of slippage. I'll give you some examples. During the rewatch, checking out the All-22, first quarter, Patriots' first drive of the game, 2nd and 11, shotgun formation, Drake Maye scrambles. When you look at the All-22, when you look at the rewatch, there's no pressure on Drake Maye. There's no reason he should be running, and Drake Maye actually has 2 receivers that are open. He's got Stephon Diggs on an out route. He's got Austin Hooper on a crossing route. Now, Drake Maye scrambles, even though he had those 2 guys open, but he does get 12 yards. So again, you got to balance it. Didn't have to run. Could have stayed away from getting hit if he threw it to Diggs or if he threw it to Hooper. He runs, but he does get 12 yards and gets that first down. 2nd and 6, same drive, under center, play action bootleg. There's nothing going on here. Maye actually makes the right decision. Drake Maye runs it out of bounds. That's a situation where nobody's open. He runs it out of bounds. He doesn't take an unnecessary hit. Second quarter, the Patriots' 3rd offensive drive of this game. Jeffrey Simmons, by the way, he is now out, not to ever return to the football game. 1st and 10, under center, play action. Drake Maye has a great pocket. Standing in the pocket, there's no pressure. Stephon Diggs is open at the sticks. Drake Maye decides to scramble. Now, again, this is the balance. The good news is Drake Maye scrambles. He gets 21 yards on that first down. The not so good news is he takes a shot because he doesn't slide. Now, he slid more than he didn't on Sunday, but again, he takes some unnecessary hits. If he stands in the pocket and he finds Stephon Diggs open at the sticks, he might end up with a few less yards, but Drake Maye doesn't take the unnecessary hits. And then the toughest one, 3rd quarter, right out of halftime, Patriots up 17-13, first drive of that 3rd quarter. 1st and 10, under center, play action, bootleg. Efton Chisholm and Hunter Henry, they allow a pressure, but Drake Maye can step up into the pocket, but instead of stepping up into the pocket and remaining a passer, he again decides to tuck and run. He scrambles for 6 yards. Now that's good. 6 yards on a first down, not terrible. But if Drake Maye stepped up into the pocket, evaded that pressure to his right, and stepped up into the pocket, a la the play to Ramondre Stevenson in Miami, when he evaded the pressure, stepped up and hit Ramondre Stevenson down close to the boundary for that big 50-plus yard reception. If he does that against Tennessee, Mac Hollins would have been open. So if Drake Maye steps up and makes that throw, he hits an open Mac Hollins. Now, here's the toughest part of this. He runs, and he ends up smacking his head on the back of the turf. So that was one of those plays where you would have much rather seen him throw the football to Mac Hollins than tuck and run to get 6 yards because he smacks his head on the turf. This is a tough balance, and I'm not saying every time he runs is a mistake. Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it works out better than a pass, like the 21-yard gain. But he has to make sure he's balancing this. He has to make sure he is protecting himself. All right, there's one specific issue for Will Campbell and Jared Wilson after this rewatch. We'll tell you what that issue is and give you the O-line eval from Sunday coming up next. This is Locked On Patriots, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm Cody Rourke from Locked On Broncos, and this episode is brought to you by Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. This is Peloton's most advanced equipment yet, giving you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or you're cross-training with your favorite instructors like Alex Toussaint. It's training reimagined to make your workout more personal. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with features that help you plan, stay motivated, and hit peak performance. You can let yourself run, lift, flex, and go while Peloton handles all the rest. Plus, Peloton IQ provides real-time strength coaching, tracking your progress and suggesting weights that challenge you so you can get stronger. Plus, the new movement tracking camera, it counts your reps and corrects your form in real time, making sure every rep is safer and smarter. So let yourself run, lift, flex, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com.
Let's talk about Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride with more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anyone else. From footwork to breathwork, athletes, they sweat all the details. Mazda brings this same intention to how they craft every single model. Stunning detail like we've seen at times during this win streak. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. You can feel Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery. You can make everyday drives feel like anything but, from smooth handling to intuitive controls. And here's something that is really cool. All-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, so you can drive with confidence through almost any season. And everybody in the Northeast knows what I'm talking about. Like our players, Mazda, they sweat every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. As great as Drake Maye has been, and he has been pretty great, as we talked about in the first segment, the Patriots will need good offensive line play if they want to truly make noise in 2025. Not just get to the playoffs, but maybe win a couple of games, or at least a game in the playoffs. So how did the offensive line look on Sunday? Let's start with the rookies. Will Campbell, Jared Wilson on the left side. Ups and downs for both rookies against the Titans. I would say more downs than ups, given the situations versus Tennessee. And the biggest issue, and Mike Vrabel touched on this during his Monday press conference, the biggest issue for Jared Wilson and Will Campbell are the stunts in the games that defenses play up front, twists and stunts. Those types of games that a defensive line can play have driven, at times, Will Campbell and Jared Wilson crazy. So let's look at Will Campbell. We'll start there. My rewatch, I had Campbell for 4 or 5 pressures on Sunday. 3 of those pressures, quick pressures, not good. That's 2.5 seconds or less. So he gave up 3 quick pressures, a total of 4 or 5. He gave up a sack. He had a false start. And by the way, if you rewatch this game, Will Campbell, I think, had 4 or 5 false starts. Only one was called. I don't know how he got away with it, but he kept beating the snap. He did it 4 or 5 times. Let's give you some examples of tough plays for Will Campbell. In the second quarter, Patriots, their third drive of the game. It's a 2nd and 10. It's a shotgun, play action, and Campbell gives up a quick pressure. Now, this doesn't hurt the offense because somehow, some way, Drake Maye makes an incredible throw to Kayshon Boutte. You probably remember this one. It's when the defender is in the lap of Drake Maye as he's throwing the football to Kayshon Boutte. They get 14 yards and pick up a first down, but that Will Campbell quick pressure, that can't happen because you're fortunate that doesn't turn into a pick or a sack or a fumble by Drake Maye. It's an individually great play by Drake Maye, but can you consistently expect that when your quarterback is getting hit? I wouldn't. Same drive, third drive of the game, 3rd and goal, shotgun formation. Both Will Campbell and Mike Onwenu give up quick pressures. Maye can't step into the throw, but again, Drake Maye bails his offensive line out, which has been a storyline through the first 7 weeks, and he throws it to Austin Hooper, who makes an insane touchdown catch. We all remember it in the corner of the end zone. Now, maybe Austin Hooper doesn't have to make as insane of a catch if Will Campbell and Mike Onwenu do the job and don't give up the quick pressure, but Drake Maye can't necessarily step into that throw, so he has to rely on Austin Hooper to pull out a Randy Moss in the corner of the end zone. Then we get to Jared Wilson. I had Wilson for 3 or 4 pressures at least. I had him for a couple of quick pressures, and he gave up 2 sacks on Sunday. First quarter, first drive of the game, 3rd and 6, shotgun formation. Jared Wilson gets beat by Jihad Ward. It's a sack. Patriots end up with the field goal. Third quarter, second drive of the second half for the Patriots. 3rd and 7, shotgun formation. Jared Wilson, again, gives up a quick pressure / sack. Drake Maye has no shot to do anything. But I will say, those were the downs. But as I said, there's downs, there's ups, there's downs. Some of the good. First quarter, second drive of the game for the Patriots, 2nd and 6, under center, pitch left to Ramondre Stevenson. You get a good push, good initial push from the offensive line. Jared Wilson makes a great block on the second level. Ramondre Stevenson cuts it up for 16 yards. Third quarter, first drive of the second half for the Patriots. It's a 3rd and 8. This was a terrific play by Will Campbell. So it's 3rd and 8, shotgun, and the Tennessee Titans run a little bit of a stunt. And Will Campbell does a fantastic job of using his quick feet, his athleticism, to just get enough of the pass rusher to bump him off his path, allows Drake Maye to step into the pocket, and he hits Stephon Diggs for a big play of 20-plus yards. That is a significant play by Will Campbell on a 3rd and 8, and the Patriots were deep in their own territory. So there's some ups, there are some downs, mostly downs against Tennessee. Now, the rest of the offensive line, Morgan Moses, I think, is just stabilizing right tackle. I thought he was really good against Tennessee. I only had him down for 1 pressure, and I had him down for a clean first half in pass protection. I thought Morgan Moses was really good. Garrett Bradbury, he probably wants 3 snaps or so back. Some pretty rough snaps. He gave up a sack. He gave up a pressure. Devondre Sweat was a problem a couple of times for Garrett Bradbury, which is not necessarily shocking. As we know, Garrett Bradbury, if he's going to struggle, he's going to struggle against bigger dudes. Breaking news, Devondre Sweat would be considered a bigger dude. Mike Onwenu, the roller coaster. I had him for 3 pressures. I had him for 2 quick pressures. We talked about one of them just a few moments ago. I would say Mike Onwenu did not have many oh my God moments in a bad way. We've talked about that. We talked about it, I believe, last week on the show where, Mike Onwenu every week has 2 or 3 plays where he just gets absolutely blown up and destroys any momentum for the offense. That didn't necessarily happen against Tennessee, but he still gave up a number of pressures. I had him for 3 again, 2 of those quick. And we have to remember the context. Tennessee did not have Jeffrey Simmons in this game after the first 2 defensive possessions, 2 defensive drives for the Titans. I mean, the Patriots, they get through their first 2 drives. Simmons leaves with a hamstring. He never comes back. We also have to remember that going into this game, Tennessee did not have Femi Oladejo or Arden Key, 2 of their pass rushers. So they had 3 guys who are pretty pivotal to this defense, especially Jeffrey Simmons, who is the most crucial piece, not in this game after the first 2 Patriots drives. And the offensive line still had some of these issues. So they got to clean some things up. There was pressure on Drake Maye in this game. And it wasn't a situation where Drake was stepping into the pressure an awful lot. Couple of other notes about pass protection. Ramondre Stevenson was really good in blitz pickup. There were a number of times where Ramondre Stevenson canceled out a blitz. Really good from him. I wish I could say about the same about the tight ends. Austin Hooper, Hunter Henry, they have had issues this year. They continue to have issues on Sunday in pass protection. But I will say overall, if you're taking the 30,000-foot view, the pass protection, the offensive line is so much better than it was in 2024. All right, I don't feel as bad, maybe slightly better, about the early defense for the Patriots as I did on Sunday. Find out why and get some more of our rewatch takeaways next as we continue with today's episode of Locked On Patriots, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Let's talk about FanDuel. FanDuel has an offer that you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Check this out. Pick a bet. Put down $5. If that bet hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. You know, I've been talking about it. I love how FanDuel gives me so many ways to play. You can build parlays, you can try player props, and even follow the live lines during games. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. Again, right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. Pick a bet, put down $5. If it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Nick, why do you rewatch these games? Why do you watch a game over again? Why do you watch all 22? Because it opens my eyes to some of the stuff that I missed in real time. And sometimes I feel a little bit differently than I felt immediately after a game. Sometimes I feel significantly different than I felt after the game initially. And there are a number of takeaways I want to share with you from my rewatch. Number one, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the defense at the beginning of the game was awesome. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the Patriots defense does not need to be better at the beginning of the games. They absolutely do. They need better starts. I would love to see a first quarter with no points on the board. The Patriots also need to get better pressure when they have 4-man fronts. All of that stuff is true. However, I do feel slightly better about their early defense against Tennessee. I feel slightly better than I did in real time. Let's start with this. Cam Ward actually threw a couple of dimes in the first quarter. He made a couple of really nice throws. 1st and 10, a critical play. First scoring drive for the Titans. 1st and 10, shotgun formation. Alec Io-Manor has a crossing route. Now, Carlton Davis falls down in man coverage. I don't expect Carlton Davis to go took us over tea kettle. I cleaned it up a little bit. I don't anticipate Carlton Davis to go took us over tea kettle often, okay? So he just falls down. That's 20 yards. That's not necessarily Cam Ward, but Cam Ward does have a throw that I want to talk about on the second scoring drive. But the first scoring drive, you've got Alec Io-Manor crossing route. Carlton Davis falls on his tuk-tuk and you end up giving up 20 yards. Other than that play, when your defensive back just fell down, which again doesn't happen consistently, the Tennessee Titans had an 11-yard pass to the tight end in the flat. They had 2 runs that totaled 3 yards, and they had an incomplete pass, Marcus Jones in coverage. So other than Carlton Davis falling down, the Patriots defense gave up a total of 14 yards on that drive. Then you get to the second scoring drive for Tennessee. 1st and 10, under center. You have a 3-yard run. Keon White, Christian Ellis do a good job. They wrap up. 2nd and 7. Here's the throw I want to talk about from Cam Ward. 2nd and 7. If the Patriots can come up with an incomplete pass here, force an incomplete, do something, right? You're looking at 3rd and long, and who knows what happens. It's a 2nd and 7, and the Patriots have good coverage. Now, Robert Spillane is a little bit late. He's a little bit late in his coverage, but he actually recovers. And watching the end zone shot from behind Cam Ward of this throw on 2nd and 7, this was such a ridiculously tight window that Cam Ward fires the football into, and somehow, some way, I mean, it is a terrific throw. It was one of the best throws of the day, including the throws we saw from Drake Maye. So 2nd and 7, good coverage. Cam Ward, a crazy tight window throw to convert and get that first down. And then, of course, later on, you've got a 1st and 10. You've got the shotgun play action, and Marcus Jones gets beat. Craig Woodson gets spun around. Chimere Dike gets the touchdown catch. We all remember the big play, the explosive. But Marcus Jones doesn't get beat very often. He's been one of the better cover corners for the Patriots. He's had a terrific season. Craig Woodson's young, so you kind of expect a mistake here and there, and you can give up a big play because of it. We talked about that before the season kicked off, but you don't often see bad coverage from Marcus Jones. So Marcus Jones gets burnt, and Craig Woodson gets spun around, and that's, again, you can't have it happen, but I don't anticipate Marcus Jones getting beat regularly, and I don't anticipate, sometimes you got to tip your cap to the quarterback, and Cam Ward on 2nd and 7, that is a tip to cap type situation. And then when you look at the 3rd scoring drive for Tennessee, when they get, another field goal, 32-yard drive. It's a 32-yard drive, including a 3rd and 3 where Van Jefferson beats Christian Gonzalez. And I would not expect Christian Gonzalez to get beat very often, especially against a receiver like Van Jefferson. Just not the best rep from Christian Gonzalez, but I'm not doubting Christian Gonzalez's talent. And that was like a 15-yard catch. So the Patriots, 32 yards on that 3rd scoring drive. They had like 34 yards in the 1st scoring drive. It's not like Tennessee was racking up 75, 80-yard drives on the Patriots defense. So I feel slightly better. I don't expect Carlton Davis to fall on his face. I don't expect Christian Gonzalez to get beat very often. I don't expect Marcus Jones to get toast very often. And then you got the quarterback making that ridiculous throw that I talked about, and he had another 1 or 2 great throws in that first quarter and a half. So looking at it in totality, some unusual things happened, some bad luck happened, some bad play happened, and some really good play by the quarterback happened. All right, Christian Barmore was a beast in this game. He had at least 4 or 5 pressures. At least. He was a nightmare. He's taking on double teams. He's beating some of these double teams. He's creating opportunities for other players, like when he takes a double team and Harold Landry late in this game loops around Christian Barmore and gets a sack. That is thanks to Christian Barmore, and Harold Landry even points to Christian Barmore and gives him credit immediately after that sack. Christian Barmore has been great, and he was really good on Sunday. The run game. The run game early on, I think, was very effective because for the first time in a while, we saw Tennessee defense. They were playing too high safety, and we've talked about this a little bit. Defenses have been loading up against the run through the first 6 weeks. The Patriots, Drake Maye, he has seen a lot of one high safety. Now, if you look at some of the numbers, Drake Maye, the one high safety stuff last year gave him some problems. So the one high safety look is all about taking away the run and putting it on the quarterback. But because Drake Maye has been playing so well, Tennessee actually came into the game and they played much more too high safety than Drake Maye has seen, especially early in games. And a lot of that yardage, that first drive, and a lot of the yardage that you saw in the first half in the run game was against too high safety looks. Now that changed in the second half, but the Patriots against too high safety were effective. They also had good initial push from the offensive line. They had some good blocking on the second level. I mentioned Jared Wilson during the second segment with a great second level block. And I thought Ramondre Stevenson was really good in the first half. He had tremendous patience. He had excellent vision, and he ran strong, hard, angry. He had really good finish. Now, the second half run game was a little bit different. Tennessee went to one high safety, especially when the Patriots got up by 18. So Tennessee started to stack the box more, and that impacted the Patriots' run game. Tennessee was also more aggressive in the second half, run blitzes, and Austin Hooper was atrocious in run blocking. There were, 2, 3, maybe even 4 occasions where Austin Hooper just was not nearly good enough, and that's been a problem. Tight end blocking, sometimes wide receiver blocking, and the offensive line was also more inconsistent in the second half in the run game than they were in the first half. So, a combination of factors, but we have to keep an eye on the one high safety versus two high safety, because if Drake Maye continues to beat defenses when they play one high safety, or rather, let me start over there. If Drake Maye continues to beat defenses when they play one high safety, I was right. They're going to have to go to two high safety. And when you go to two high safety, that should get the run game going. So that's the cat and mouse game that defenses are going to have to play against Drake Maye and the Patriots if Drake Maye keeps cooking defenses in that one high. All right, that wraps up this edition of Locked On Patriots. Thank you for making us your first listen and for being an everydayer. Reach out to me on Twitter at NickCRadio, and don't forget to throw a comment in on the YouTube channel. Hit that like button, throw a comment, and subscribe. And for your second listen, get a double dose of the Locked On NFL podcast with Tyler the Madman Rowland and Tony Wiggins. Find Locked On NFL on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow.